Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is Bart here on. Oh, hey, I'm at my home office here, working on some different things. I actually just got out of a class with one of our good buddies here on YouTube. Well, he's not a good buddy, but everybody's a buddy when you're my age. What's this dude's name?
A line via Q&A at the
Oh,
end of the session.
yeah,
I will be answering all of your questions.
yeah, Steve Cravata. Just got out of class with him or whatever. He was kind of showing his different marketing techniques and stuff, but it's not about his class or whatever. I just want to show y'all that real quick. All right, cool. Let me get out of that and get out of there. What the hell am I doing here? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to be doing some live programming with Google's AI Studio. Today, I kind of wanted to work. I got quite a few apps I want to work on. But I got one particular, just considering the time of year it is. It's, spooky time of year. And I had this really cool idea for app, a ghost hunter app kind of deal. I'm all the time like scaring my kids and stuff. I figured, that'd be pretty cool if you could create this like ghost hunter app. So yeah, so let's go on ahead and go in here. So if you want to program with AI Studio, obviously you just you set up an account. Um, and I think you can link. You have to link a credit card to it, but you don't actually have to. I mean, you're not going to get billed anything. Just don't enroll with the trial. I haven't really enrolled with the trial yet, but I definitely recommend if you do any kind of serious AI work, I recommend Google Pro. Um, so I have quite a few different services. I have the Chat GTP. I got Google. I got a bunch of stuff that I use. But I'm truly impressed with the AI Studio, the type of development environment that they have, and the kind of stuff you can build inside of this sandbox, so to say. It is limited. You don't go in here and expect to build any extravagant applications, tied into external database and stuff. Now you can tell it that you would like to build a certain stack, but I mean, right off the get go, it's pretty much gonna want to build it using, oh God, what is his preferred stack? Yeah, let me get my head on straight here. Oh, Shadow Seeker. There we go. Yeah. So I'm having some issues with this here. What the hell is the name? React. Yeah, he uses a React based front end, um, which is React's a really good framework for web applications and stuff. But the app has the knowledge. The AI has the knowledge to create more sophisticated applications. So don't be afraid to have conversations with the model, um, to talk about other stacks that you would like to build, because it can create duplicates of what y'all build in a React stack for other um, systems or whatever. So, like, say if you would just wanted to build one with just generic, HTML and CS, or you want to build a Node.js, a server on the back end, or you want to do a Python based server or whatever. Uh, he can do that, but he'll want to build it up front with like React, and then you'll have to tell him, say, hey, I want to build reduplicate this, create a folder, reduplicate this, because I'm planning on building this with this specific stack, and you'll have to give him specifications of what your ideas are as far as like provide them a README. So here I'll give you guys an example of what I do when I'm trying to, what y'all call it, vibe coding. I'm trying to figure out what the hell a vibe coding is. I thought it was a coding language. Vibe coding. It's like, what the hell kind of coding language is that? I've never heard that before. But no, it's actually a style of coding, freestyling, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, if you guys want to call it vibe coding, I guess that's what it is, vibe coding. So you come in here, you go into the build, right? Click on build, and you can work with whatever model. You can work with Flash or Pro, whatever. Pick your model. Be really cool if you could pick other models outside, but Gemini's really qualified. I had to say, it does make mistakes, makes a lot of mistakes, but who doesn't? Humans make a lot of mistakes too. So, all right. So just for an example, so how I usually will start with a build. I wouldn't just jump right into Gemini and start building something. I would go back into my other model, and I would have a project folder. So I would have a project folder just like test widget app. Okay, create a project folder, and so let me just come up with something crazy. Let me just come up with something pretty wild here. Let me think. Dancing Japanese emoji app or something stupid. Okay. Okay. Okay, bro. I am thinking of a crazy Japanese dancing emoji. No, I'll say emoji. Let's say Japanese dancing cartoon app or something. All right, so that takes standard images, and turns them into dancing memes or something stupid. Memes, but in Japanese, but with Japanese type comedy and text. Yeah, text boxes. Okay. And so we'll be using Gemini API inside the Gemini Studio. We're going to set up the framework. Most likely going to be built in web app. So can you design a README MD for the programmer in a step-by-step minimal viable product for this build, something like that. Yeah. Be sure to include the need for something I always do when I do even if I'm doing like old school HTML program or whatever, I have my README, I have a change log, I have maybe a features log. I make sure to comment the hell out of everything and tag everything in the code. and I will update everything as I go. And I will also include like a features log sometimes, so that'll help you control feature creep. So if you're an idea guy, you like kind of get carried away with crazy ideas, especially when you're kind of you're just coming up with the basic concept of it, like, oh, what if this or what if that, kind of like a 2 or 3 year old, daddy, what if blah 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 blah. Yeah, so a feature log will help you kind of log those ideas or put a note, set them to the side so that you can focus on the main framework. Be sure to include the need for a features log.md, and a for future ideas to log just in case. No, so to log so we can focus on basic framework. And the change log.md to track all changes to the application for version control and debugging. I think that's a rough idea. Yeah. So I'm thinking of a crazy Japanese dancing cartoon app. That's like that takes standard images and turns them into dancing memes, but with the Japanese style comedy and text boxes. So we'll be using Gemini API instead of Gemini or Google AI Open Studio or whatever you want to call it for the setup framework. And basically, we're using ChatGPT to create some instructions for the stack, and it'll take that and it'll add to it and maybe take away some. So much like it's gonna be built in React base web, create a README, step-by-step instructions for the MVP, and you need a features log, a change log for basic debugging. Okay, and what I'll probably end up doing is once I get in there and start building it, we'll add some additional log and debug features. Okay, so all right, we'll get that. We'll get the basic instruction. I'm not going to build this thing. This is not intentional. This is just for practice. Oh, man. All right, dancing Japanese cartoon style, whatever. Oh, I should have also told him to say like write it in GitHub style, because literally everything I do is version control through GitHub. So, all right, randomized joke. Interesting. What kind of stack do we got here? Pixie.js or Canvas 2D render. That's kind of cool. Export buttons, toast. Styles, docs, library, docs. So we got the docs right here. What am I thinking? I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah. Configuration file, maybe a place to put a config file, whatever. I don't want to get too carried away because this is just for training or whatever. So just kind of looking, getting a basic idea of how it's going to be laid out. Storage, IndexedDB, local storage. Honestly, I don't even know some of these things. So Gemini is their sandbox is somewhat limited, and I get it. But what you can do is you can get your Google AI Studio to build the basic stack, and then you pop that up into GitHub. You pop that up into GitHub, push it, and then you can pull it back to your local, and then build back upon it with whatever you can build it yourself or tweak it with whatever AI models you're working with. put it in your cursor or your, Visual Studio Code or whatever. Use Claude, whatever. But Google AI Studio is really good. You're about to see. So this is just kind of giving you instructions on how you would build this. I'm gonna pop that down, the assets. And the other thing, it can't build sprites. As far as I can see, it's not building sprites. I've tried to build logos and stuff inside of Google AI Studio, but I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. But it's not real good with like logos and stuff. So I've been actually having to manually edit those once I scrape my own app back onto my local server here. Word of advice: I am not a professional developer. I am a novice developer. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt. Okay, looks. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy this here. I briefly went over to the stack, and so now I'm gonna go into my studio here. Excellent. Hold on, give me a second. Yeah, thanks, bud. Appreciate it. Thank you. We should be courteous. All right. Okay, so all right. Okay, build app below using README instructions. And okay, so I'm just gonna have him build it, and then I'll kind of look through it and see what he's got, and I'll give him some additional instructions after that. So determine the best so the instructions do give him, an idea of how to build this framework, but he can come up with his own. This is adding sound effects or music. One of the cool thing I do like about this is it's really showing you what he's doing, he or she or whatever, what the machine is doing. Because I think of this like a chainsaw or a skill saw or a nail gun. Everybody's like, oh, AI. Well, damn it, it's no different than a nail gun. You don't complain when somebody builds your house. It's the same thing. It's a tool, right? It's a tool that can think. Prompt. All right, let's see how he's doing. It's got his constants. There's the front there. Got our JSON. Obviously, we're going to be using Gemini services for this, and you can modify all this later to use whatever. So some of my apps, I would probably be utilizing my local models just to test them out and stuff. So I'm not sitting there cooking an API the entire time. But man, that's on you. However you want to, whatever you want to plug in your apps to, but definitely utilize some kind of AI data processing on the back end, because it's just to make things so much easier. When you got AI assisting you with pulling things from database or sorting out data coming in or whatever, having agents running tasks, doing things. Image uploader, face crop. The one thing about Google's AI Studio is really good at UI, and I feel bad for you guys that went to school and learned how to do UI. I've done quite a bit of media development, and having that knowledge though is going to be very beneficial when you start working with these AI models and they build some crap UI. So you'll know what you're getting yourself into, and you'll know how to tweak them. So if it's something doesn't look right, or you don't like the way it flows and clicks and pops and colors and this and that, at least you got some experience in UI. So got a bunch of bugs he's working through. There will be a lot of bugs. The model is really good at fixing most bugs, but trust me, when people say, "Oh, I don't have to know how to do programming, and I just used AI to build an app," pardon my French, putain, bullshit, bro. Because you got to know some programming. You have to know something. Even if it's just CSS or HTML, or just understand the basic concept of writing a program, or understand how to do some algebra or something. You have to understand the concepts behind coding a little bit in order to develop something worth a while. It's the same thing with music or whatever. You know how to write some music. You know how to structure a song or whatever. You're not just gonna spit some shit into the AI model and it's gonna, oh, this is the best thing ever. No, it's not. She's still working here. Let's interpret compiling issues. He's got a list of issues. What I'm probably going to do is have him log the issues that he ran into during the setup. So some guys will have a debug log as well, which is really good. Or error log, you'll have the log and then the error log depending upon what function you're focusing on, like server log error, whatever. So I'm going to have him probably plug in the types of errors that he run into on the initial setup, because if I wanted to rebuild this thing, I would want to know kind of in advance what kind of problems I'd be looking into. So this is the front end on it. It sucks, but yeah, this is the front end. Let's see what it looks like on mobile. Drag or drop your image here. So the basic concept behind the app is basically you take an image, you drop it in, and then it turns it into a funny Japanese meme, right? Powered by React. We got Tailwind and the Gemini API. Okay. So all laughs and giggles and fun aside, let's go back into our design. So okay, please rewrite the readme.md in GitHub style to explain the core concepts of the program or application for both user and developer, and how the other thing I forgot was the schema. So he obviously the stack hasn't been built yet, so I'll get him to generate a schema as well, and that'll also that actually helps the model out too. So when they're trying to figure out where files and stuff are, they already have a schema file. So I'm gonna have him rewrite the README, the core concepts. So this is kind of like, say, okay, this is what I did. Now I'm documenting my build, right? Core concepts of the application for both user and developer, and how the schema works, and each function of the program or whatever. Okay, and let's just have him do that first. I don't like to give him too much at once. So he's going to rewrite the README. Oh, before I do anything, save. Do not. Oh, I guess he already saved. Oh yeah, because I think they just enabled the autosave feature, which is good and bad, I guess. I'm not a fan of autosave, but it can be a lifesaver. Alright, so he's going to rewrite the README, and then I'm going to read it. I'm going to look at it and see what it looks like compared to what I uploaded before. See what changes we made. Just kind of preview it. So this is not only good like training for you guys, but practice makes perfect. It's like playing basketball or archery or anything else. The more you do it, the better you get at it. So in the service they call it train the trainer. So you'll have somebody that's like fresh out of freaking school, and now they have to teach a class, even though they're still novices. So actually, you'll hone your skills at being a better developer by teaching others to do what you're doing. Of course, if you're a big screw up, you're going to be teaching others to be horrible, and I'm okay with that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm glad this. So this mic here will be a mono mic. It'll be in the left channel, I want to say, yeah, because I'm the way I got my audio system set up here. So, all right. So let's look at the README here. Man, y'all guys probably can't see that. Turn any photo into hilarious dancing manga style meme clip, so he understands a little bit about culture. API to automatically find faces. So yeah, he's already writing up a pretty complicated code. They tie. So I think the purpose behind the AI Studio in Google is really to promote Gemini and the capabilities of Gemini. And hey, man, I get it. If you can get more back end sales by giving some upfront free services like the AI Studio, man, that's a good way to do businesses. I think Google's business model has always been kind of that way. Free up front, we get some sales on the back end by showing the capabilities. And if you're a paying customer, we show you a little bit more of what we can do. Something I've always kind of admired about their company. That, and besides the fact that their employees get to go to work and lay in bean bags and pick their own schedules and stuff. At least that's how it used to be, from what I understood. Generate funny jokes. Ever wanted to see your friend or pet or famous celebrity do a silly dance? Now you can. And I'm sure there's probably already apps out here that do this or whatever. Instant animation, AI-powered humor, customize your meme. Share and export. So we need to specify what application we're going to be sharing this with. Obviously, your TikTok is going to be the bread and butter. And so because it's Google, I'll say YouTube Shorts, and then your private gallery. So there's got to be some kind of database tied into this. But as you can see, there's no database here. I mean, unless I'm completely blind, I don't see no SQLite. I don't know. So the original plan was to tie it in to what's the no, that's not it there. Where are we going to tie it into? I don't even see it in here. Index database storage TS. Does he have a storage TS planned in here? Let me look at this control panel. We got the canvas, export, face gallery, uploader. Constant. This says static data like dancing animations, hooks. That's not what I'm looking for. Storage services. Okay, index DB helper function storage services. Okay, that's all right. Cool. So he did plan that in there. That's good. State and build features. So you also got to think about the scalability. How many users could you obviously put utilizing that index DB. So dance rig. Dance key is the animation system. Confines the animation system with the ID string. Okay. Gemini integration converts the image. So Gemini will be doing the image conversion. Sends image into the flash model. Kicks it so he does his own little agent work kind of on the back end. JSON coordinates of the face. How that works. I actually got another application I'm working on. I got to figure out how to do the whole locking objects, object detection, and parses model text response. Includes mock data for development. When the API is not mock data for development. Yeah, because a lot of your sandbox apps you're going to make in here are it's just going to have like fake data. Because I mean, is to prove a concept. That's what a lot of the stuff you build in AI Studio Google is going to be, to prove a concept. Prompts flash to generate the punchlines and automate FX. It uses a response schema config to instruct a return object, which simplifies parsing. Request animation frame for smooth performance loop. Request animation frame. Finding the dance rig object in the constant TS. Sprite URL. So where the hell are we getting these sprites from? They're pulling sprites from some damn where. Office 2-step. Just kind of want to look to see what we got in here. Let's go back to the README. The setup, you clone. Yeah, so the cool thing about yeah, let me save this real quick. So the cool thing about AI Studio and Google is so you got to be on the desktop version, from what I understand, because I've tried to use the phone version, and I don't see this little save to GitHub thing in the phone version, the mobile version or whatever. But on the desktop version, you have the save to GitHub, so you can actually go in and create your repository. So I'm already set up. I've already set my GitHub account in here through AI Studio Google, so it's linked to my GitHub. I'm going to make a private repository. I'm just going to say Japanese meme app. I'm just going to say Japanese meme app. Actually, let me get rid of all them capital words. It's meme app. Okay. Yeah, just test app. Test app for training. It's private. Creates it. Logged in. It's so another cool thing about this is like the comments and everything, but it creates all the comments for you, which is really cool. Because usually I have to do this manually, or I will use a copy and paste method, utilizing whatever application I did to make the changes. So this is, I had to say, out of all the features out of AI Studio, this is probably one of my favorite, because when I'm pushing and pulling and making changes or whatever, having to add comments to track everything, it's kind of a pain when you're making sudden change and you really want to track all the changes you pushing and pulling. I kind of wish they had added the feature to branch out, but obviously you can do that because this is not like full development environment here. This is just a basic sandbox to spin something up and kind of get a concept of what it looks like, the framework, how it's going to function, and you send it up to GitHub, and then you can pull it and put it on your local, and then modify it. So yeah, and you still have all these tied into Google's API. So if you want to keep using it, and that's kind of, I think that's why they set this up the way they did, so they can get more business on the back end. Okay, so README looks good. So now I'm going to say, okay, update change log with recent changes, and be sure to log the previous errors that you encountered as you were building the stack. And then after he does the change log, I'm gonna have him create a schema, so that'll show him and myself and whoever. And it's good to have that schema in. It's actually already in the README, but I create a separate file for it. And you can automate that kind of stuff too. So I actually had a piece of software that, as I would develop, it would update the schema file based off of what it read in my local folder. And it's just some Python program. This is a Python program that would scan the directory and update the schema file. And then when every push that I sent to GitHub, it would update that schema file. It's just good practice. Okay, is he done? Okay, let's create a. So that's so funny how we say let's and we. It's kind of like your wife when she's like, "Hey, let's go cut the grass. We are gonna have fun weed eating," and it's not we and it's not us. It's, dude, you're out there cutting grass, and your old lady's chilling in the hammock. Sorry, sweetie, I'm just making jokes. Okay, let's create a schema.log or MD, actually dot MD. Yeah, that's the other thing. It really should be a log file. Obviously, when you're doing debugs and stuff like that. So, oh, my fatigue's kicking in. That's great. Coffee's running out. Let's create to show the file directory and add descriptions. God damn, I can't spell today. That's good enough. And there's my future features. Where's the feature? Did we add the features file yet? No, we did not. All right, so I guess I gotta put that in there too. So I'll have him add a features MD, and I'll also have him scan the README to see if there's something that needs to be put in there for future development. And that's where all future development IDs are going to go, in the features. So you can branch off your, you get your basic framework built as, hey, it works. It looks like crap, but it works. Everything functions. And then you can start adding on features and stuff. So you can do that with your branches, your Git branches. I guess, like I said, I'm a novice, man. I'm sure there's millions of ways of doing it. Okay, let's create a features. Are my eyes bad? Because I don't see a features file in there. No, I do not. Okay, features. .md to track future development of the ideas for the application. So and he'll come up with some ideas on his own too, because obviously with all the additional information with the README and all that, it's not just like, hey, let's build this. He spits it out, and then it's like, okay, we have no documentation. You want to have some documentation in there so that not only gives you some context of what you're actually building. It's like having a blueprint for a house or whatever. You want to have some drawings. You want to know where you're going with this. It's like writing up a daily task to do. You want to have some kind of track record to say, hey, this is what we did. This is where we want to go with this. And maybe this is not going to work. Then you just shit can the whole thing. Just kidding. Let's Creative Features MD to track future development ideas for the application. Also scan the README document for items that need to be in that file as well. And the cool thing about Gemini is because you're explaining this process with him through the development, he will actually remember these processes as you go. Now, if you work with a model long enough, so you like usually you're training your models, right? Even if it's a local model, you're training your models, and they will pick up on your habits through your conversation. But I will say that it's one thing that Gemini really excels on is picking up those cues and saying, "Hey, this is what we've done before. This is probably what we're going to do again." And that could be a good or bad thing. But like, "Hey, I didn't tell you to do that." I'm not a micromanager, and I'm sure to hell I'm not going to micromanage AI. So if he does something, I didn't intend, that's my fault because I'm the one holding the damn nail gun. I'm the one behind the machine. So let's scan the README documents for items that need to be in the file as well. Okay. And so what he'll do is he'll scan the README MD, and so pop those into the features.md. So this, like I said, this is to help you keep feature creep at bay, because it's going to happen, especially if you're an ideas person. Be like, "Oh man, this feature is going to be so cool. This is where we're going to go with this." And no, you're not. You're not going to go there, because once you start to get neck deep in all those features, then you realize you just broke the entire. You broke everything. Nothing works now because you just destroyed it. So that's a good thing to have, like a way to control the features, And then in GitHub, man, you got so many different ways of adding these, these things to your project without making them part of your primary build. Version control, that's a whole nother beast. I need to take a class on version control. What's the proper way to document version control? So considering that, and so let's add some version control measures to the documentation, and explain the procedures and procedures in the README for the developer. Are you guys okay? So I got my kids in there, they doing crazy stuff, playing PlayStation. For the developer, so let's add some version control measures to the documentation, explain the procedures in the README MD for the developer. That's good enough for me. That way I can read it and say, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is my standard practice for version control. Proper documentation. Oh yeah. Okay. So I got another step here. So what I'm doing is it's kind of like when you're setting up a construction site. Everything's drawn up, measured twice, cut once. Proper documentation, good planning. That the old saying, failing to plan is planning to fail. So it's the same thing with proper structure and planning structure and documenting everything prior to just, all right, man, let's build this, bro. Okay, and all right. So now that we got the schema MD file, let me look at that file. Let me look at it. Check your work. Check your work. I gotta get a new desk. This thing's creaky. Galley image uploader. Man, there ain't nothing wrong with like trusting other people's stuff, but check the work. It's a machine. It can make mistakes. don't see comments in these. I don't see comments in those. But I do understand that he's got their global state management and type definitions. So can make sure, yeah. Have descriptions. So that's going to be good for training. So like say if you want to take all this and plug it into another model that's not as smart as Gemini, and there's a lot out there that's not as smart as Gemini, you'll have all the commenting and all the documentation, so it'll be better prepared to understand your build. Say if you're using Klein or Rue Klein or whatever in some local model that's not as capable. Okay, let's update change log. So it's just out of habit, man. So if you guys are into VS Code, with Klein or Rue Klein, these are the kind of things that you can do in there. To assist with the version control and documentation as you're going. Just make sure your schema and your change log is updated with each change. And then when you're pushing those to GitHub, that you're commenting, cause you're not going to have that unless you got something fancy. You're not going to have that automatic commenting. Having the proper comments when you push to GitHub, can explain things. If you say you got to do a rollback and be like, shit, I didn't even add a comment to this commit, so I don't even Now you got to manually compare stuff, see what the differences are. Okay, update changelog, add new version entry 0.1.2. Okay, so he's implementing the version control mechanisms that we put in place. He updated the README and the schema MD to integrate the new version control procedures. Alright, so I'm going to go in here real quick and I'm going to see what these version control procedures are. Because, considering I'm a novice programmer, right? Yeah. Key function breakdown, so that's all the environmental variables. Okay, that's important. For developers, it's a React-based web app that demonstrates uses Gemini AI. Tech stack. I'm not seeing anything for version control. I'm not seeing anything in here to explain to me about how to do version control for this. Site's been around. The face stickers, bubbles, dancing critters. Animation is driven, persistence, run the developer server. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything in there about version control. So this is why I say you need to check your work. I do not see in the README documentation on how the developer should track and record version control. I guess I don't know how to say this. I'm sure you guys got your own vocabulary on how to say this. You IT experts out there. Can you please add that? Yep. Okie dokies. I'm gonna go a little bit further here and I'm gonna have to stop because I got hungry babies out there, mostly for cookies and ice cream. Alright, I do enjoy watching AI pop strings down, man. That's reminds me of watching boys frame a house or something, putting them boards down. So now he's doing the change log. So that's what I'm saying. That having a change log is like super important. Format is based off of keep a change log. See, somebody's been behind this for a while. Some brilliant person a long time ago came up with the concept of a change log. Feature, added feature. And there still is no features.md. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, this is on the change log here. I don't see a features.md. He probably thinks it's crazy, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's create, and there's no sense in getting all emotional, like, oh, dude, you didn't do what I said. No, it's a fucking machine. Why are you going to yell at the nail gun? Okay, let's create the features.md like specified earlier, instead of placing it in the change log, so we can track add-ons and expansions outside the core build documentation. Documentation, because you might scratch a lot of those ideas, like, oh, that's stupid, not doing that, that's not going to work, that's too complicated. Hey, that's pretty cool, but I'm too dumb to do it. Yeah. You're cool, you suck. I don't remember what movie that was, man. What was that movie that dude got fired from his job, and he's like, yeah, I'm not trying to be saying bad words and stuff, but he's like, F you, you're cool. I don't know why I remember that. Okay, creates new features, file log track, feature development, update schema, created features.md. Where's my file? I do not see it here. Am I missing something? Bro, I don't see my file. Created newly features MD. What, did I get banned from Google for creating a features.md? Alright, I guess I'll just be creating it myself then. I don't know, am I blind? I don't see a features.md in here. Add items to the file explorer. Por favor. Puta de mierda. Create a new file. Come down here. Is it alphabetical or something? I guess it is alphabetical. Alright. Let me see what that change log says. He said he created it, but it is not in there. So, A added feature initial project with da 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 da. Okay. Let's say created new features.log.md2 tracked file. Okay, well, the file was missing. And then you put the emoji or meme, bruh. No, the file was missing, so I created it. Please place inside a file. Please place your belongings inside the box. Please place future features from a documentation inside. Oh, oh, oh. Logging and tracking. This got me crazy thinking he's created a features file, but I don't see one unless it's embedded in something else, because I do not see it. Where's my JSON file, bro? There it is. Alright, let me look in this file, see if he wrote anything in it. Bruh, you didn't write anything in the file, bro. Alright, let's see if it can even write to the damn file. Bro, write something to the features.md file. Okay, that's pretty simple, but it may be too vague. Oh, of course, my apologies. Okay, see, man, yo, it's a tool, so you gotta help them out, right? Like, oh, I'm just gonna build it with AI. I don't have to do anything, man. Ha ha ha, get the duct tape. That's one of those hold my beer moments. Hold my beer, Jimbo. This is gonna be good. Yeah. So yeah, you gotta help your AI buddies out. You know, the tractor is not gonna fuel itself. All right. So he created the file. Cool. All right. So let's add that change. Add that to change log. Add that to change log. We ain't even got into the app development yet. Okay, add that to change log. I'm gonna check the change log and verify that he's time and date stamping. So he's putting dates and they're wrong. I'm not sure what server he's pulling that date from, but it's kind of interesting to see that. So he's probably using some kind of version from up here. So, and I haven't done this on the others, but I will go ahead and let him know now, so maybe he can catch that. Okay. Look at the change log. If you notice, each entry is the incorrect date. The year is 2025. In the year 2525. Y'all know that song, right? Okay, so the year is 2025, not 2023. Look at the change log. If you notice each entry, if you notice each comma, maybe, I don't know. I'm bad at English. No comprende, señora. If you notice each entry, comma. Alright, that's going to drive me crazy. Each entry is the incorrect date. The year is 2025. Please enter the correct date for each entry with timestamp. Timestamp. I don't know why that'd be sound like that'd be a cool song. I did on Run This Code A. It's a Python based song with the kind of things that you would program into it, and it always says time print. I think it's pretty cool. Time print. So that one of them, I actually enjoy that. I enjoy that song. And then I'm going to get a YouTube copyright notice because I'm playing my own song. Time print. Which one is it? It's not that one. It's so I like this. Wait, go back, bro. Damn it, dude. Yeah, I like this one. This one's really good. The Get Push one. I do enjoy listening to that one. The Run This Program though, I do. I enjoy listening to that at work. It's a good work song. It really is. Like it's got a pretty good beat to it. So, anyways, let's get back to work. Update the dates for all existing entries in the changelog.md to correct the year from 2023 to 25, ensuring the project's version history is accurate. Okay. He did not fix anything. He did not correct anything in the changelog. Edit changelog as specified above, please. I might have to go in and do it myself. So use format. Date, time. User format the date, time. Здравствуйте. Хорошо? Cześć. Mushi mushi. Konnichiwa. She. Come on, man. Let's go. Let's go, bro. Updated the changelog. He did not update. He didn't update anything. Okay. All right. So test. Create a test. Test entry in the changelog using date and time. So he's probably utilizing the template from the keep@changelog.com up here, and that's probably why he's stuck in wild turkey land. So almost turkey time. I have turkeys. Out in the yard, and they are big and juicy, and they're almost ready for turkey season. But they're my friends. I do not want to eat them, but they look delicious. Ay, por favor. He set up data change, log and change the years and split time down entries. Add new entry version, change logs services being followed, blah, 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 blah. He's not, did I give him bad instructions? No, I did not give him bad instructions. Alright. I'll give him an example. He's going up. Yeah, his going up. I don't know why. He's using a bottom-up approach. 10, 23, 25. I don't know where he's getting that time. I gotta go take care of them babies. 3. I'm gonna use this man here. Actually, he gives a space. I'm gonna give him a space. And I'm gonna tell him test entry, and then I'm gonna have him. I'm gonna show him the example, and then all right. Okay. Check the change log and see example at the top. At line at line 9. Yeah, let's be very specific. Line 9. See the example at line 9. That is how entries. That's how I want entries to be made. How I want entries to be made. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so now he's going to look at the example. I think the kids are playing Minecraft tonight. I don't think he's streaming. So I let my boy streams on the channel because Daddy's always at work. He's not streaming. I'm the one streaming right now. He does some crazy stuff on that thing, man. I wouldn't dare challenge him in Minecraft. That kid would beat my ass. Update version headers with the date time version. Here is the updated file. Anyways, so I'm gonna have to cut this short, man, because I gotta go to bed and I got kids to take care of. But yeah, man. So for me, for this broadcast here, I just want to explain to you guys the importance of proper documentation. Okay, so anyways, hold on. Version control and tracking, right? So I'm gonna save it in here, in Google's AI Studio, and then I'm gonna go into GitHub and I'm gonna push it. So there's the other cool feature that they could. I don't know how they program this in here, but I might do something on my end. I know Git tracks this anyway, so they just kind of plugged it into their application. So I think Git's got their own like API I can pull from maybe to build my stuff. Maybe I could do that. It says modified the README changelog schema and features. So now that I have that stuff set up, before I get out of here, I'm going to show you one other thing I do when I'm starting to build on something. Okay, so now I want to properly comment. I don't know if he does that in advance. He does not. So look at this. This is just raw code. So, I mean, you kind of have to have experience with this coding language. In order to know what you're looking at. But if you don't know what you're looking at, commenting, right? Okay, so now let's properly in the header of each file, place comments explaining what the file does and its dependencies. And I used to do this manually with everything that I would build, just so if I ever have to go back, say you don't touch it for a year or whatever, you go back and you're like, that's what this does. That's what that does. Hey, I can use this and something else. So I don't have to manually try to figure out what this does. So I was like, okay, I can take this, I can take that out of it, I can use this in something else. Okay. So I'm going to properly comment all the code and the functions, tags or whatever, sections, blocks, whatever the hell you want to call them, in the application for each file, and the section to explain / blocks, containers, blocks, whatever the hell you want to call it, in the also in the header of each file, place comments explaining what the file does and its dependencies. Yeah. That's a very good practice to do. So what you're going to see him clean up and add comments to everything, so you'll kind of know what it does, how it functions. It's kind of like I don't know if you guys have ever done any mechanical disassembly or something. It's like tagging all your parts. You got a label or some tape or whatever, or Ziploc baggies. As you do the disassembly process, you're labeling the bags and you're tagging all the different components and part of it. So you give it a description. So when you go to do the reassembly, or if you're trying to troubleshoot or debug something or whatever, you got description, you have comments, it's properly tagged and coded. I don't know, this guy's he's not doing anything and I'm telling him to do. Yeah, maybe he's just tired. He's not tagging anything. That maybe it's the catch. Maybe it's my catch or something. I don't know. Wait, cancel. Yeah, so he's not doing any updates. Obviously, I mean, real time, you see kind of the bug or the flaw, and it absolutely could be my browser as well. So I'm just gonna get no changes to commit. Yes, make these changes. So he was writing before. Maybe I maxed out my usage. It is very possible because I use the hell out of this thing, man. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. All right, so now he's doing his job. See how he's properly commenting all the code and the sections and the blocks. This is for saving. This is for cropped face images. You know, so when you go back behind this thing, I want to say reverse engineer what's going on here. Especially if you're a novice programmer, this will help you understand how this thing works. You know, especially if you don't understand the functions, or you know, where do I put my API keys and stuff? How do I expand the project for these features that I wanted to do, but I can't do them in his sandbox. I got to do them locally. A lot of times what I'll do, if I want a feature or something added into it that can only be developed locally, I'll tell him to put placeholders. I'll say, hey, build this function into the app, but put placeholders in place there, and comment them out, and then annotate it in the comments. This is where that function's going to go. And I'll have them update the README. I had them update the schema and the change log and everything else, so you'll have it all documented, everything, so that way when you pull it to your local and you go in to add those additional features, like say some back end Postgres database or whatever, you're just adding some different tools and stuff, or MCP or whatever, it'll already be kind of structured in there. It'll be commented out, but it'll be pre-built, so there's no need to reinvent the wheel. If you can go ahead and do it in advance, at least it'll give you some basic framework in place, so that when you do pull it back locally, you'll have those placeholders there to say, hey, this is where this goes, or this is where it could go, and this is how it might work. So when you get your local model, or if you just hard code it, you're just hardcore, you know, old school, I'm gonna program this out myself, man, I don't need AI, at least it'll be there for you to say, hey, this is how I would have done it, and you can modify it however you want. But it'll take all the what do they call it, fleshing it out, and when they in writing they call it fleshing it out. It'll allow it to do all the groundwork, you know, digging the holes and sweeping the floors and all that shit. So it'll do a lot of the legwork, the fleshing out, so you can get in there and really work on tweak on the bugs, the complicated stuff. Okay. He did a pretty decent job. That's a section there. Getting into the interpol values for the current time view. See, he's really good at commenting code. I gotta give Gemini that, man. He's very good at commenting code. Even if he breaks stuff, he'll be able to put some comments in there and say, hey, this shit don't work. Sorry, pardon my French. Yeah, but he will properly comment it. This, you know, this is what it's supposed to do. Maybe it don't work. Yeah. All right, so let's update the change log. And schema. And any additional references in the readme.md before we push. Great work. Okay. All right. So now he's going to take and log the changes. That yes, we added comments to our code. Um, and if anything has changed in the schema, he'll update the schema. And then if there's any additional references, because without the comments in there, he may not have gotten all the the bells and whistles tied into the README. That would be very crucial information for a developer. So with the comments, it could have gathered additional information to pop into the README. So that's why I said, go back through and see if there's anything else for the README or whatever. So, all right. So I'm going to save it, and I'm going to push it to GitHub. So, yeah, for setting up an application, to start to build an application in Google AI Studio, or any framework, that's what I do. I always make sure I got my README. I'm tracking my schema. You can do it with ASCII art or whatever. You can do it with a visual tracker too if you want to develop a. I'm sure they got programs out there. If you just want to draw it on a piece of paper, old school, you can draw out your schema on a piece of paper. It's like, this is what I want it. Well, this is what I want it to look like. This is the file structure. Maybe it works, maybe it don't work, but at least you got something written down, something you can track, right? All right, so cool. We got quite a few items to push. So when I'm starting to build something, even with carpenter work, I'm less concerned about the aesthetics and more concerned about the make sure everything's dressed right, dressed square, plumb, and accurate. And that's what's important of proper documentation, and planning when you're trying to build an app. So I will say that the AI Studio, Google Studio, is a really good sandbox for those of y'all that would like to experiment with it a little bit. And you all got experience with Cursor, Klein, or Rucline, or Bolt, or freaking Claude, or Replit, or Goose, or what the hell ever. I mean, there's millions of them out there. Use them all. Just use them all. Find what works for you. And you get a good rhythm going. So, hey man, you guys have a good night, and bro, have a good weekend. God bless you. Jesus loves you, and take care. Let me figure out how to shut this damn thing off. Oh, I wasn't even recording. What the hell?